This might be the most important thing I tell you in this video, because if you look at the data, it will blow your mind. It physically makes your brain better. Not to mention, it almost instantly lowers your stress hormone levels. I don't really want to get into like brainwaves and stuff, but that 6 to 8 hertz between alpha and theta for flow states, it can get you there faster and keep you there longer, right? Sounds amazing, right? So what is it? First things first, focus is not like an arbitrary thing that a lot of YouTube videos make it out to be. It's real, it's measurable. And before we jump into how to unlock that focus, we're gonna take some tests. We're gonna take some tests so that way you can gauge where your focus is at. And after this video, you can go back to those tests and see how much your focus is improved. And real quick, if you're wondering who I am, I'm Taylor Gunn. I've worked with the top YouTubers in the world to get like 8 billion views across YouTube. And when it comes to attention, a lot of those videos online that's like how to gain focus, I wrote those for a lot of YouTubers. Like, I know what I'm talking about. Test number 1. The goal of this illusion is to focus on the center dot until all the other ones disappear. If you can't make all 3 dots disappear, you either need to move your screen closer or you have terrible focus. If you can make all the dots vanish for any amount of time, you have a normal attention span. But if you can make the dots vanish for more than 5 seconds, that's when you start tapping into truly extraordinary focus. Okay, so that was good. That was test number 1. And now you kind of know, like objectively, kind of where your focus is as far as controlling your eyeballs. Let's get to test number 2. This next test is simple. Try to see if you can count how many passes the people make in the white shirts. Count the passes. If you counted 15 passes, congratulations, you got the answer right. But did you see the gorilla? Okay, let's go back to the video, watch a small sliver, and I'll show you the gorilla. Okay, isn't that interesting? So the first test is there to see how much control you have over your eyes, especially micro movements, which are the enemy of true focus. The second test is about selective attention, how easily you shut the world out around you, which is key for entering flow states of focus. If you didn't see the gorilla, don't worry, most people don't. And to be honest, you kind of shouldn't, but moving on. I'm gonna leave both tests down in the description for you to check out later, but the point is this. Focus isn't this vague thing that YouTubers talk about. It's real. It can absolutely be measured, taught, trained, and hacked. Let's talk about it. For the most part, companies use your attention against you. But in this video, I'm going to show you not only how to take it back, but how to take it to new levels. First up on my list of dirty little secrets of focus hacking is diet. You've probably heard people say, you are what you eat. And it is 100% true, especially when it comes to your brain. Your neurons crave very specific nutrients to work hard. Bike tires need air. Cars need gasoline. Fighter jets need jet fuel. So what do you need to give your brain for it to run like a fighter jet instead of a tricycle? And the answer is choline, okay? It's found in foods like eggs, chicken, fish, broccoli. Choline helps your brain produce a neurotransmitter that boosts memory and focus, okay? But none of that will help you if you're doing the opposite and slowing your brain down. So it's not about just eating a lot of choline, it's about doing a lot less of the opposite. It's a proven fact that one thing stands above the rest when it comes to ruining your cognitive performance, memory, focus, executive functions, as they're called, and it's sugar. When it comes to diet, sugar's like one of the worst things that you can be eating for brain functions, and there's no reason to. Literally every store has options for alternative sweeteners. Every food has a sugar-free option. Buy those instead. Don't eat like shit. You won't feel like shit. You won't think like shit. And don't try to get like a choline supplement. You are what you eat. Simple as that. Don't try to half-ass it and get a supplement. Eat choline. Don't eat sugar. Next step. The second step is all about training your brain. Everything you can do to fatigue your brain is like absolutely vital to build up stamina. All right. I'm talking about Sudoku. I'm talking about jigsaw puzzles, drawing, reading. It all adds up to give you a stronger, healthier brain. But listen, there is one thing that you can practice that will give you the best results fastest, which is to practice a second language. Okay. Notice I didn't say learn. I didn't say learn a second language. That's because so many people are like borderline delusional when it comes to actually learning a second language. It takes an incredible amount of work. It takes years. And despite all of the YouTube videos that swear you can do it in 2 months, you can't. I mean, maybe they can because they're wired like that, but I'm certainly not, and neither are most people. You're not trying to learn a second language. You are practicing a second language, okay? Let me explain. I cannot understate how good it is for your brain to even just attempt to learn a second language. Every study that's ever been published says the same thing. You get better memory recall. You get increased brain plasticity for making new connections and learning faster. You can literally reverse the signs of aging in your brain by just trying to learn a second language, okay? So get Duolingo or whatever app you want. There's a lot of apps that are specific to the language you want to learn. Those tend to work really, really well. And just like watch videos and follow along. Just try to wrap your head around another language in general. And don't worry about actually becoming fluent, okay? Just know that the process of memorizing words and phrases and functions of another language is doing more for your brain than anything else that you could be doing. Literally, failing to learn another language is better for your brain than succeeding at doing anything else when it comes to your cognitive abilities, okay? Next. Everybody already knows about exercise and sleep and how important it is, so I'm not going to talk about it here. There's a million videos talking about the importance of those backed by science, but I think there's actually something else that's just as important that no one ever talks about. Social stamina. It's a scientific fact that going out and being with friends makes your brain work better. There's evidence to suggest it also helps you live a longer life, but how does it actually affect your brain to go out and like engage with the world and engage with people? Well, the answer is actually kind of nuts. You have 3 super important chemicals in your brain to create a feeling of well-being. And as I'm going to talk about later, well-being is important when trying to focus because the enemy of focus is stress. But anyway, 3 chemicals. Oxytocin, okay, which is it enhances trust, bonding, and it's a stress-reducing chemical, right? That's the one that people call like the love chemical. Then there's dopamine, which boosts motivation and reward-driven behavior. It's very important for discipline. And then there's serotonin, which regulates mood and overall cognitive function, okay? All 3 of these are incredibly important. And going out and interacting with people in new environments forces your brain into kind of a checkmate situation where it has to adapt. If you're anything like me, when you go out, after you get home, you feel like completely wiped out because you're an introvert and being around other people can feel like it sucks the life out of you. I get it. But it's literally something that you can do that will touch every single element of your life in a positive way. And I suggest finding at least 1 day a week when you can go out, explore somewhere new with a friend or a partner or whoever's willing to hang out with you, all right? It's worth the effort in every way. So, like every other step in this list, please try it. Next. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about sleep, and I'm not. I'm going to talk about something that's like sleep adjacent. And in my opinion, it's just as important, if not more important, a night routine. As I said before, the enemy of focus is stress. And in order for you to focus optimally, you need to eliminate as many stressors in your life as possible. It's no secret your morning can like set the tone for the rest of your day. So setting yourself up at night to have a frictionless morning is one of the best things that you can do for those days when you know that you have to like lock in and focus. At night, you can eliminate so many things to where your morning is just effortless. Your stress is low, that feeling of well-being, you're fostering those sweet, sweet brain waves, which I'm going to talk more about. And you'll be able to lock in focus so much easier, and you'll just feel better, okay? Anyway, so what does this mean? This can mean setting your clothes out in advance. I do that, especially on gym days. Preparing breakfast ahead of time, like overnight oats. I'm a big fan of that. It can even mean knowing exactly what podcast or audiobook or whatever you're going to listen to the next morning as you start your day. Because like one of the worst things you can do the next morning is like be browsing like YouTube or Spotify and trying to figure out what you want to listen to. It's better to actually just like know, okay? Make as many choices about what the next morning is going to look like ahead of time and try to remove like pain points wherever possible, all right? I cannot tell you how many times I have done this, okay? I get to work, ready to focus, fully prepared to crush it, and someone hops on a video call or walks into the office who looks like shit. They look like they just rolled out of bed. And that person is guaranteed going to be moving at half my speed for the first 3 hours of the day. And if you know anything about how the brain functions, those early morning hours are like the peak hours for cognitive function because your brain is so good at dealing with stress at the beginning of the day, okay? So those morning hours you have to protect. I get my hardest work done at the beginning of my day, or what I call big picture work, or what a lot of people refer to as deep work. This is strategic thinking. This is creative thinking. The kinds of stuff where you have to think outside the box and you have to connect the dots for yourself. And I save a lot of that mundane, mid-level work for later in the day when my brain is depleted of all those awesome juices that helps me do the harder stuff, okay? Okay. So having a plan for your mornings is just like OP, dude. When it comes to overall productivity, it really can't be beat. If you're just kind of waking up and figuring out as you go, like that's fine, but that's not how to optimally think. You're not setting yourself up for success, okay? I think I've hammered the point home. Next. I do not listen to playlists or songs or albums or podcasts or audiobooks or whatever else when I'm trying to have deep focus. It's really ineffective. What is effective when trying to enter a flow state is loops. If you look it up on YouTube, there is a 1 hour loop of almost every song in the world. What song I listen to changes all the time, but I only listen to 1 hour loops, okay? Which is why I'm always on the hunt for new music, which would be a great opportunity for a Spotify ad, but no one will sponsor me yet. Moving on. I listen to music loops because they put me in a zen-like state where I just zone out, like white noise in the background. And there's actually a lot of science to this, okay? Listening to your favorite song on repeat makes you feel safe, like really safe. Like after 10 minutes, your brain waves can easily slide into a total concentration with a lowered heart rate, and you can slip into that sweet spot of about 6 to 8 hertz for your brain waves that basically go between alpha and theta, where flow state happens. I'm not going to get into the science of brain waves and what they affect and what affects them. The only thing you really have to remember is that your favorite song for 1 hour on a loop is a flow state hack that you can call upon whenever you really need to, okay? Last tip. This might be the most important thing I tell you in this video, because if you look at the data for what I'm about to tell you, it will blow your mind, okay? It increases blood flow to your brain. It physically makes your brain better by increasing oxygen, especially your brain, your executive functions like problem solving, pattern recognition, memorization. Not to mention, it almost instantly lowers your stress hormone levels, okay? So eliminating stress, very, very good for focus. And I don't really want to get into like brainwaves and stuff, but that 6 to 8 hertz between alpha and theta for flow states, it can get you there faster and keep you there longer, right? Sounds amazing, right? So what is it? Stretching. 10 minutes of stretching before you lock into like hours of chair work is probably the most OP hack there is when it comes to focus. It increases blood flow. It does all those good things we talked about. It does a ton of other really wonderful stuff for your body and mind too. You need to be doing some level of stretching. I stretch before I make these videos. Okay? It's just the way that it gets your body and your mind working together and moving. It's so easy, right? And it's so much better than just like sitting down stiff, trying to lock in. Where am I? What was I going to do? What do I need to do? There's something about stretching that just like gets it done for you. Okay. So please, all the things in this video, do it, but especially stretch, because not only do all these things increase focus, they help with your like longevity and your well-being. You know, I talk about mental health, and all this stuff is amazing for your mental health. Do it. Okay. Time for the clip of the day. Let's check it out.
Name something a divorced man hopes his ex-wife will do.
Die.
We're not divorced.
Die! Number one.
Dude, how was answer number 1 die / eaten by hyenas? Family Feud is the greatest show of all time, okay? It's a lot of dad humor, which I love. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.